I'm not seeing a lot going on. I'm not seeing a whole lot of deer movement like I expected or like my cameras were showing just for the vicinity. I always see deer in there. We go in shed hunt, everything through there. So not seeing what I want to see, and then I start smelling something I don't want to smell. The wind starts blowing down a skunky odor, and no, no, it wasn't another hunter partaking in some of the legal kush. It was a skunk. I never got eyes on it, but wherever that skunk was, it wasn't happy, and it smelled like it was getting closer wherever it was.
Yeah, I've only had a couple close calls with skunks out in the wild when it comes to hunting. Well, here this year, I have no idea where the skunk went. Not a clue. I'm walking back. I don't. I was out in Harrison County. I was walking back through the fields, and I see this movement out in the field. I shine my light on it, and it's a skunk. I see it. I'm like, oh, and I stop, and all of a sudden it just disappears. I see it like kind of duck down into the weeds a little bit, and then it just disappeared. I'm like, where'd that thing go? And I started walking a little, and then when I say weeds, like it's not very tall weeds, maybe like ankle, maybe mid calf height. I go walking, towards that way or towards that area, and here there's this small little hole, I guess, in the middle of that he must have crawled into. It must have crawled into. I never did see it. I didn't go up there poking around the hole. I didn't want to find out. It's just kind of paid attention. I'm like, all right, so this is where it was, which unfortunately was kind of in the way that I needed to go to get out. And so I kind of kept an eye on it. Like I said, I seen that hole sitting there, but I didn't see the skunk. So it had to dove down inside this little teeny tiny hole. Like, all right, bye. And I got out of there.
Oh, I can tell you, I haven't been sprayed, but from personal experience, it is a hot stink when it is up close, and you don't want any.
No, my dog's been sprayed twice, and I don't. There's, nope.
Yeah.
I've had enough of that dealing with that.
Well,
And I made
if you live in town, I also don't recommend trying to skin one out for the pelt when you're not sure what you're doing in your backyard. I'm glad my wife didn't leave me. That's how you know she's the one. She ain't leaving. She ain't going nowhere after that.
Yep. It's like, you're stuck with me.
And yeah, I wasn't impressed with myself, and neither was he.
No, I bet not. So you ran across Pepe Le Pew, or at least Pepe Le Pew was in the vicinity. What'd you do? What happened after that?
I decided to pack it up, and in my mind, I was gonna just call it a morning, head to the house, eat lunch, take a nap, go back out in the evening. Um, I wasn't even sure if I was gonna go back out in the evening, because the temperatures were gonna be increasing through the days. Being September, Western Colorado, you're still looking at 80-degree temperatures depending on what part of the valley you're in. So I saunter back to the truck, kind of with my tail between my legs, because I thought, oh, I'm gonna get done day one. I've been watching these deer all year. They've been in here most days, and they weren't that day. Saunter back to the truck, text the wife like, "Hey, I'm gonna head home." She was at work that day, but wanted to give her a heads up on my ongoing, and I did not head home. I decided to check out another part to the south of me, so I drove around a couple roads just to see if anything was out moving, and went out the road, didn't see anything, and on my way back, I had two doe cross in front of me and dipped down into the ditch off of the road. So I drove up the road about 80, 100 yards and put the truck in park, grabbed the bow, grabbed the rangefinder, saunter off the road and stalk into where I saw him go, and could hear him moving around in the oak brush. At that time, they may have been 30-ish yards. They pop out of the oak brush, and by this time we're looking at 9:30, 10 o'clock. So the weather's getting warm. It's getting hot. Sun's really starting to blaze. But they poke out of that oak brush about 35 yards on open hillside.